Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. So do me a favor, hit subscribe, watch, comment. I'm loving your comments, and share with friends because it's important, so important to be in the know. For example, yesterday, Trump met with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte in the Oval Office, and they discussed all of the current and the potential conflicts that's happening because of Trump. Now, I want to start with a clip of a one-liner from Trump that legitimately sums up our current political climate. Play the clip.
But the biggest thing we have to worry about right now is what's going on right now.
So the biggest thing we have to worry about is what's going on right now. Kind of sums it all up, doesn't it? I mean, whoever wrote that for him, whoever gave him talking points, kudos to you. Now, the interesting thing is during that entire meeting, it demonstrated that Trump, he's still not finished. He is not over the LA fires. And he explained to the room in tremendous, beautiful detail that he broke into Los Angeles, that he turned on the spigot, and that as a result of him, he saved Los Angeles from further damage. Play that clip.
I broke into Los Angeles. Can you believe it? I had a break in. I invaded Los Angeles, and we opened up the water, and the water is now flowing down. They have so much water, they don't know what to do. They were sending it out to the Pacific for environmental reasons. Okay, can you believe it? And in the meantime, they lost 25,000 houses. They lost, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. But
nobody has ever seen anything like it. I've never seen anybody break into Los Angeles. Generally, what you do is you land at LAX, and then you, I don't know, exit one of the thousands of doors, and you end up going onto the freeway. But good for you for breaking into LA. It almost sounds like one of those old movies with, what was his name? Like a Harrison Ford or Kurt Russell, right? Escape from LA, Escape from New York. So stupid. He then, of course, turned to Canada, and he spoke about what will happen to their national anthem when they ultimately become annexed and made a part of the United States as our 51st state. Play the clip.
And to be honest with you, Canada only works as a state. It doesn't. We don't need anything they have. As a state, it would be one of the great states anyway. This would be the most incredible country visually. If you look at a map, they drew an artificial line right through it between Canada and the U.S. Just a straight artificial line. Somebody did it a long time ago, many decades ago, and makes no sense. It's so perfect as a great and cherished state. Keeping "O Canada," the national anthem. I love it. I think it's great. Keep it. But it'll be for the state, one of our greatest states. Maybe our greatest state.
Okay. There's so much to unpack from that. Number one, you don't have a national anthem for a state. All right. The country has a national anthem, but we're going to keep "O Canada." Oh boy. How do you even begin to unpack the level of ridiculousness? Somebody drew a photo and he likes it because it's visually appealing. So therefore we annex you, but we don't need you. But it would be beautiful because to him, visually, he likes it. A reporter then asks Trump if he has a message for small business owners that are worried about tariffs. Let me be clear about something. Small business owners, including large multinational companies, are getting fucking hammered right now as a result of tariffs. But doesn't make a difference. Trump is still all into tariffs. Howard Lutnick is still all into tariffs. But these small business owners are getting decimated. Here's the message from Trump. Play the clip.
Mr. President, on tariffs, you made clear you're not backing down from this, but many American small business owners say they are concerned that these tariffs are going to hurt them. What's your message to them?
They're going to be so much richer than they are right now. And
Yeah, they're going to be so much richer than they are right now, except right now they're getting poorer by the day. I've got a friend, and you've heard me talk about him before. He's going to lose his business. And we're not talking about a small business either. His business has generated over $200 million. He is losing his business because of tariffs. Now, a reporter in the room also asks Trump about the possible annexation of Greenland. And Trump had to, of course, capitalize on the fact that NATO Secretary General was sitting directly next to him. Now, of course, he can't use the same line that it's a beautiful picture because, of course, our properties do not abut. Play the clip.
What is your vision for the potential annexation of Greenland and getting the potential? Yeah, well, I think it'll happen, and I'm just thinking, I didn't give it much thought before, but I'm sitting with a man that could be very instrumental. You know, Mark, we need that for international security, not just security, international. We have a lot of our favorite players, cruising around the coast, and we have to be careful. And we'll be talking to you. It's a very appropriate, really a very appropriate question.
There's an issue in the high north, so the Arctic. So what you did, so when it comes to Greenland, yes or not joining the US, I would leave that outside for me, this discussion, because I don't want to drag NATO in that. But when it comes to the high north and the Arctic, you are totally right. The Chinese are now using these routes. We know that the Russians are rearming. We know we have a lack of icebreakers. So the fact that the outside Russia, there are 7 Arctic countries working together on this under US leadership is very important to make sure that that region, that part of the world stays safe. And we know things are changing there, and we have to be there.
Yeah. What a weak-ass response from a guy who's petrified. Petrified. You can see he's petrified to disagree with Trump, though he wanted to make it crystal clear that NATO is not going to be getting involved in this entire conversation. But then again, he has to placate Trump. Trump says it, and everybody, for whatever the reason might be, everybody is bending the knee. It's truly amazing. Then, of course, Trump jokes about ambushing Greenland. No, seriously. He wants to ambush Greenland. Play the clip.
Very important. We have a couple of bases on Greenland already, and we have quite a few soldiers, and maybe you'll see more and more soldiers go there. I don't know. What do you think about that, Pete? So, don't answer that, Pete. Don't answer that question. But
I don't understand how any of that is funny. No, seriously. Like, I would love to find humor in the entire conversation, but bringing more military. By the way, let me give you a little factoid here. As of the last census, Greenland's population, does anybody here know what Greenland's population is? All of Greenland, 56,609 people. No, seriously, 56,609 people. So he wants to send more military? I don't know. Send 1 or 2 squadrons is all you need. You're not talking about an overpopulated area. And there's nothing funny about ambushing Greenland by sending more military. Don't answer that, Pete. Yeah, hysterical. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a Trump presser without some, I don't know, how would you describe it? An off-the-cuff weird rant about gang members and drug dealers. Because in Trump's mind, all of Greenland is now gang members and drug dealers. Play the clip.
You see they're taking them out in record numbers. Gang members, gang leaders, drug dealers. This is a problem the Netherlands does not have. The Netherlands never had this problem. If you'd like to take it, I could deliver some people. I could deliver some nice people to the Netherlands if you'd like.
I'm not sure.
No, what?
I'm not really sure how any of this is really funny, but I don't know, maybe I just lost my sense of humor. Now, a reporter then goes on and asks Trump if he was concerned, if he's concerned that Russia and Iran were going to China to have a meeting about nuclear weapons. Play the clip.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Leaders from Russia and Iran are heading to Beijing tomorrow to discuss nuclear programs. What do you hope to get out of that?
Well, maybe they're going to talk about non-nuclear programs. Maybe they're going to be talking about the de-escalation of nuclear weapons, because, I was talking about that with President Putin very strongly, and we could have done something had that election not been rigged. We would have had something. I think I would have made a deal with Putin on de-escalation, denuclearization, as they say. But we would have de-escalated nuclear weapons, because the power of nuclear weapons is so great and so devastating. And right now, Russia and us have by far the most, but China will catch us within 5 years. China doesn't have, but they're in the process of building, and they build. And within 4 or 5 years, they'll probably have the same.
And by the way, this is a Republican.
Yeah. If only he had won. Mind you, you're 60 days in. Why don't you work some deal out, because you are the master negotiator. Why don't you work a deal out with Putin now? All right? I mean, it's easy to say what would have happened years ago because you have the crystal ball, but you're in for 60 days. Why don't you de-escalate now? So another reporter then asks if people should be scared that Putin will attack the United States next. Play that clip.
Go ahead, please.
Mr. President, some of our allies have said that they're worried that they could be the next to be attacked by Russia. You've spoken directly with the Russian president.
Yeah.
Do you think those fears are justified?
No, I don't. I think when this gets done, it's done. They're going to all want to go home and rest. I don't see it happening. Nope, I don't see that happening.
Oh boy. Look, finally, if it wasn't already obvious to each and every one of you, well, Trump then answers it for you. He makes it crystal clear that he thinks of the Russia-Ukraine conflict like a board game. No, seriously, like a board game. Play the clip.
Well, would like to see a ceasefire from Russia. And we have, not been working in the dark. We've been discussing with Ukraine land and pieces of land that would be kept and lost, and all of the other elements of a final agreement. There's a power plant involved, a very big power plant involved. Who's going to get the power plant, and who's going to get this and that? And so, it's not an easy process. But phase one is the ceasefire. A lot of the individual subjects have been discussed, though. We've been discussing concepts of land, because you don't want to waste time with the ceasefire if it's not going to mean anything. So we're saying, look, this is what you can get, this is what you can't get. They discussed NATO and being in NATO, and everybody knows what the answer to that is. They've known that answer for 40 years, in all fairness. So a lot of the details of a final agreement have actually been discussed. Now we're going to see whether or not Russia's there, and if they're not, it'll be a very disappointing moment for the world.
Yeah, well, expect that disappointing moment, because Trump's concept, his belief in a negotiation, is me dictating to you what I want. And what Trump wants is what Putin wants. That's for Ukraine to give up all the territory that Russia has taken in this improper war, for Ukraine to return to Russia areas that they ended up occupying, for the Zelensky government to dismantle so that that Putin could put in one of his puppets, like what was done in the past, turn over all their land and mineral rights, and then a couple of additional things. Doesn't really matter, right? Just basically turn over everything to Putin. Doesn't sound much like a negotiation to me. Sounds more like a shit deal than a decent deal. And as always, thanks for listening. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.